Hello there everyone and welcome back. Last episode was a little bit easier on me, which ultimately probably means it was a good thing for me because I finally made relatively good progress on the experience front. My second eclipse finally got its foil blending in. It still remains to be seen if trying to rely on silent running is a liability, but I can play with the mechanics a little bit, like with how I hinted at before. I could use the foil stalker, which I don't plan on silent running, to kind of mask the noise that my eclipses and auroras can make, so it kind of intrudes on my opponent getting a read on where they're at. Assuming that's a practical mechanic to start exploiting against Eldar, I feel like that's a good counter to it, but it still remains to be seen if this is actually practical with what I've learned. But nonetheless, it is progress. We got all the auroras at level 8, so they got their belt armor, so they're not really susceptible to immediately losing a handful of their weaponry. There's the hope anyway. And we actually got to use our shadow finally, which are still in need of some experience, but I need to figure out their niche there. I mentioned already they're really good for the Eldar mirror match, and I want to turn on the favorite color for you, so at least we get a little more blending in. It matches the color of everything else, because this used to be my regular torpedo shadow, which unfortunately I could never find a use for, so I ultimately swapped it out for a carrier version, but I wonder what I could do with the torpedo variant still that could be useful. It would be trickier because I don't have pulsars to make for lightning strike runs. I would have to more commit if I want to get aggressive with the star cannons, because while their damage potential is ridiculous if they can fire for long periods of time, it isn't very practical with the hit and run tactic I've been utilizing, at least so far. So I may have to think on that and maybe work on it some more. So we're going to be fighting up against Space Marines here, and in theory this should be a really good matchup for me, considering most of the Space Marine ships have less health points for me to go through. They are more mobile, mind you, so if he goes with the Frigate Swarm I could be in trouble, because quite frankly that's how I've been winning against Eldar when I played against Space Marines. So do I want to go with the Void Stalk? With that said, mobility seems pretty key, and it's again a good opportunity to use my Kurnos there. I don't know if he's going to go with the Frigate Swarm, but mobility would be relatively good at mitigating a lot of his speed, his ramming attempts, and at least getting super aggressive. I don't quite have extended sensors, that is a slight problem with my Kurnoses, but with 4 jamming options available, I could get aggressive if I could jam a handful of his ships and at least deny him, at least conveniently sticking a beacon on me easily if he has any of them. I don't know how I feel about this composition, mind you, but the bombers are more, the Kurnos patterns are more for dealing with a possible frigate swarm, because it makes it a little more easier, and the torpedoes on the Aurora, if I can control them right, can also be useful with the maelstroms to help deal with any, if I can get multiple frigates to lose their shields, that could be a nice boost to damage too. I would just have to cripple him with something else, because at best, if he's boosting at me, these maelstroms are only going to do, what, 50 points of hull damage? Maybe less if I place it wrong, so I would have to burn multiples of them if I hope to kill those frigates, which means I run out of those really quickly. But I think mostly the Hellborn here is more for spotting, if nothing else. Maybe an occasional pulsar shot here and there, but if it could give vision for my bombers, that will help a ton, since I've yet to get extended sensors on my Kurnos pattern, and I don't think I will until level 8, honestly, because I want to try and make them more practical by extending the range of their star cannons, so at least that way they can do more than just rely on a cooldown timer, a 1 minute, well actually it's not 1 minute, it's what, 40 seconds? Yeah, 40-second cooldown to actually contribute. The one thing I kind of dislike about the carrier ships, at least going heavy carriers, is it feels so boring. Especially since it does allow me to kite and run away all day, kind of like as we've seen before with the Custodian, other Eldar fleets. I don't really like that style, and I really am hesitant about accidentally going into that style, because it is kind of a lot more easier. I couldn't say better, but with these Kurnos patterns it's kind of warranted until I make their star cannons a fearsome threat. It just needs a lot of trial and error and a lot of practice before I can really figure out how to get the most out of these things, because if I were to go with the armor-piercing rounds on these star cannons, you know how ridiculously close I'll have to get, and that sounds like a suicide mission for something that's so fragile and requires so much micromanagement to get away with. But we're looking at 5 ships, so 6, okay. I'm watching the count intently here. We're seeing 5 or 6, so it looks like it's not quite a frigate swarm. Not quite battle barges either, but since the queue was almost instant, I'm fairly certain that this is an indication that he's got like a Admiral level 8 fleet at least. I don't know about level 10, mind you, but I'm fairly confident he's got access to all his ships. So I still gotta bring my best game here. And now he's got a beacon going. So we're gonna dodge that. I like the idea of just striking a waves, because again, if he tries to chase after one... Nope. It's unusual for... Let's see, 4 lights and 2 cruisers, huh? 4 lights? Man, you gotta get your math figured out, man. I would like to have a 4th Aurora, but if I want a 4th Aurora, I would take a Void Stalker. Either way, we know what the plan is. He is done firing torpedoes. This is not all that scary. So let's boost on through. Let's burn his beacons. I don't care about these so much. It's just about making sure I can punish him effectively. So 4 strike cruisers. We know what he's feeling here. Now I just need fission, which the Hellborn can easily do for me. I just gotta be mindful of his gotta be mindful of the fact he may dive bomb these things. Oh, let's not crash into my torpedoes ideally. As I'm trying to micromanage this, we're gonna get sensors in a moment. He's got hunters there, so I'm fine with that. And I'm hoping to get vision momentarily for bombers. So what does the beacon get thrown on? Okay, fire on the Hellborn. You already burnt the potential of your... I'm losing my train of thought a lot here, but that's all fine. And they are a level 10 fleet. Are these boarding torpedoes? They look like boarding torpedoes, so that's fine. Now, get on out. Burn the boarding potential. That would actually be kind of nice here. Now, repair. And get on out. And hopefully my hotkeys are working properly as they should. So, can I jam some more? I could, but I need to assault run with this thing first to minimize the risk of it dying. So we got 2 jams in. I don't know. I wasn't paying attention for micro warp jumps, mind you, but that's something I could do in a moment here. Now, hit the strike cruiser. Hit the level 10 strike cruiser, ideally. And now, oh, I double jammed. That was a little bit unnecessary, but at least it helps with me putting practice into this damn thing. And that was a bad maelstrom, with that said. Because I still need to kill the shields for that to even be useful. But star cans will help with that. And sadly, these are level 5 star cans, so they're not all that useful just yet. Oh, I'm losing control again, so that's a bit unfortunate. And thankfully, the Hellborn's going to make it out. So boost on everything out. We got more bombers, so can I keep hitting them? Bombers sadly did not kill the 1 strike cruiser, so that's a little unfortunate. But we did do a great deal of damage. My Hellborn is unfortunately dead, so that's a bit of a mistake on my own part. But with bombers available, although the cooldown is actually a little bit off, it's probably due to the servitors maybe, or the bone singers. So let's just be careful of that. Can I hit this thing? No, I can't. This is a bad placement for me. But we do have reload available. We are dealing with these boarding torpedoes somewhat well, I guess. My fighters are pretty much gone, so let's not get too cocky. Once my fighters are back up, maybe I'm okay, but I am messing up my control again, and I'm not liking it one bit. Especially since, for some reason, I can't rotate my camera leftward. Is that... why can't I... oh, that's the border of the map, that's why. Okay. So let's kill off these strike cruisers. Get these going. Because we can dodge to fake, isn't it? Now, let's get him. Yeah, I did launch bombers, but that will help with torpedoes some. Now, can I actually kill this thing? That would be ideal circumstance, but the speed is going to make it difficult. And, yeah, everything stopped moving, so this is a bit unfortunate too. And these frigates are doing damage as well. So I'm messing this control up horribly. But everything's jammed, so maybe that kills the strike cruiser. That helps in that regard. Yep, okay, one strike cruiser gone there. Yeah, I'm messing up this control horribly. Quite notably, but we can still do... Let's see, you are not executed. You're not running out there. Yeah, damn it, this control is horrible on my part. But with the jamming, I can kill off the strike cruisers relatively well. Just don't void explosion, we're golden. Because this arguably gets easier for me once I start killing them. I just gotta get the assault run, get these ships hit in, and of course shoot down the boring torpedoes. So what is crippled there? We'll find out in a moment. Because so long as I'm paying attention, these torpedoes should never hit. Especially since I could dodge the bombardment cannons, but that was pretty pitiful as well, my display. So keep on shooting. Dodge the bombardment cannon there. Have the fighter go on in, and I can't quite repair, but I do have maelstrom still. Now, these are boring torpedoes. Okay, they did eventually hit, but I do still have means to do damage. Now, get this thing going, get this thing running. And now, can I get another maelstrom in? Nope, I cannot. And the bombardment cannons are eventually hitting, but so long as I can get one more torpedo in, and we did get a ram, so that's unfortunate too, how that played out. So that's unfortunate. That was poor display on my part. I am not happy in the slightest. But can the bombers kill off the strike cruiser? One more strike cruiser gone. All the torpedoes were basically dealt with, so this is technically a victory. A really abysmal one. I'm not happy with it in the slightest. Because this is, if nothing else, this is just justifying why playing the more passive route is probably better and never getting close with all the bombers-centric style. But in 6 seconds, I can get the bombers in. Let's see. The bombers never did launch, so so bombers do hit. Unfortunately, that is a loss and no experience for my shadows, which is a shame. That was poor display on my part. A little bit better focus firing would have helped a lot. A little bit better focus firing. And of course, it is a question of brace for impact would have been useful there to maybe have a chance of mitigating a lot of those. Because speed is important to avoid the ram attempts, but I kind of was overwhelming myself some. And I get no experience out of it, which is what I would have really liked. So that does me no value in the slightest by letting all those ships get killed. And do I want to burn all my renown? Maybe for the Auroras, at least. We'll try something. If we get a rematch with them, we'll do the Void Stalker and the 4 Auroras for the pure power. Maybe a little more focus firing. Would it be ideal to have 4 Auroras grouped up together? Because I can't really do a lot of damage if he chases after me. That's the bit of the problem with that. So I kind of need to be spread out so I can keep attacking him ideally. That's the intention anyway. Alright, so we have our rematch here. We may not go with the Void Stalker because I don't know if the points line up for it. I could get a Kurnos and 4 Auroras if I want to go that route. Would be interesting. Then, as weird as it may sound, having my pulsars in the directly center portion of the ship means my pulsars are almost guaranteed to do full damage to the convoy, as opposed to something like a Void Stalker where it's really hard to hit with more than 2. Maybe even 1 if I'm so unlucky. But it does have bombers to help make up for that. Is this the route I want to go? I kind of like the Void Stalker and 3 Auroras, in all honesty. More power to fight straight up there, and I guess I do need to make it a little bit easier on myself as far as controlling this fleet. At least attempt to. And I do have extended sensors for the Void Stalker as well, so I won't need to rely on the frigates so much, but let's try and improve our micromanagement game. That was abysmal. That was abysmal. I don't have any other words for it. I want to try and improve that play. Avoid the rams, be aware of everything is the key thing, and have to kind of think 2 steps ahead, quite frankly, too. I need to kind of anticipate if he's going to go aggressive or not, and since we've seen his playstyle, we have a better read of what he's going to do, so this could potentially go better for me. We just got to keep an eye on the convoy. I may actually, yeah, I'll have all the Auroras together, at least to force him to keep his convoy together, because these things can kill multiple convoy ships relatively well, especially if I can spread them out. Who am I kidding? The convoy has like 200 point shields. If they were 100 points, a single Aurora could take their shields out and then Maelstrom on top of them to really put the pressure on, as well as the damage on multiples at the same time. So, we'll see how this goes. And the Void Stalker will serve as a bit of a bait here. And I have no, well, I do have a gas cloud that could spawn in, but it is a bit of out of position. I don't like it one bit.
As you wish.
We already know what this strategy is, pretty much. I'm assuming that's all the convoy ships down on the far right. Okay. I don't even need to commit to fight him just yet. I gotta put the pressure on him. Just put the pressure on him, and we know those are all the cruisers right there, since he's giving away with beacons. Cruisers, battle barges, whatever they are. Looks like there's a battle barge and 2 cruisers is what it's looking like. So as long as I spot the convoy, I'm golden. Because dumbfire torpedoes aren't going to do much against the Void Stalkers. I just got to make sure I get maximum value out of my fighters, so that way they protect the Auroras some. Because I'm not going to have the convenience of, that's the battle barge right there, I think, without a doubt. So I don't even need to commit. I don't need to commit yet. Let's just try and do some damage. So you spot me? Congratulations, that is exactly what I wanted, although destroying the belt armor is a bit of a, well, destroying the belt is a, or the deck is a massive pain in the ass. I do still have lots and lots of fighters though. So just keep an eye on these. Actually, I did expose my roars preemptively. Now, so repairs have gone there. Now, keep hitting them. Torpedoes are an amazing hit there in that regard. And we did slow down. Oh, did I? Okay, I didn't burn my repairs, so we denied the critical hit results he's been getting. He's been wanting. And now we're just about to murder this strike cruiser horribly. And there's no way, yeah, I was hoping maybe I could have launched the bombers, but with the deck gone, I didn't have my extended sensors, so that's a bit of a pain in that regard. If only slightly, because I could still get vision. I still got pulsars to shoot him. And now we get multiple shots on his torpedoes, and now it's just a battle barge, which let's not get complacent somehow. Let's try not to, anyway. And I gotta keep an eye on what has repairs available out of all these ships. Because we know that's a battle barge, but we can with reload. I actually have faster rate bone shift than his reload time, so I can abuse the hell of these mechanics. Now, let's just go after our convoy. Watch for the bombardment cannons, because I can again abuse that. And now, let's see, he's boosting. Although again, these shields are a little bit of a pain, aren't they? Not to mention the fact that This is not working as well as I like.
As you wish.
Because we did do a lot of damage to this thing. Yeah,
The void
I'm
is
going to take a bit of damage here, but I think I'm okay with that.
Infinity circuit.
Because that's one conveyor gone.
Moving to that location.
Now,
Setting sail.
it's not much of a micro warp jump, but it's an improvement.
At your service.
Now, destroy the other ships. And finish this off here.
Round the enemy. Until
Now, I have Maelstrom,
the Eldar stand ready.
so that's 2.
Yes, Commander, we obey.
The Void Stalker, unfortunately, is probably not going to live, but... Okay, that's over. I thought we had one more to kill, but that worked out well. Hopefully my ships didn't explode, though. Something sounded like it was about to explode. I'm not... Oh, my Void Stalker exploded, so apparently a Void Explosion got that there. And the Aurora, too. So chances are I never got credit for both of them, did I now? More than likely. Because of the Maelstrom still ticking damage, it refusing to go to the score screen. That would suck if I lost both the Void Stalker and the Aurora there. We'll see. We've seen worse results. Hell, I even lost 3 ships apparently. So I get nothing out of that mission as well. God damn it. Nothing of really to note, which is a bit of a shame. It was a lot better, I will say, but I could have handled the Void Stalker a little bit better, but the instant loss to my deck was a bit of a pain, which again, if I had belt armor, that might not have been a problem, but it still needs to get its levels in before I can get comfortable with that. Because a lot of these are pretty essential, I want to argue, with the resonating crystals for the shields, faster cooldown for the bombers, and of course sensors to make use of said bombers, as well as the micro warp jump. So losing the deck immediately kind of is what killed the Void Stalker, if nothing else. But I will repair the Auroras at least. To have them available, do I want to repair the Shadows? I'll repair at least one of them, since it's not going to be that expensive, and I technically have 2 Shadows available for the next mission. And we'll leave the Void Stalker be for now. And we'll try and make a little more progress, if nothing else, because I still would like to get a favor on the Void Stalker. It just remains to be seen. Do I want to go with Sam Han to kind of like have 2 means of jamming on this ship? Since I'm not going to be using the Eclipse, well, I'm not going to use the Shadows at least very often with it, if at all. So having this with multiple means to deny a micro warp jump at least would be pretty useful for me. Or do I go with, of course, Oldway to kind of protect it from lightning strikes, and of course its own Maelstrom. It's only going to be a single Maelstrom, but they are pretty handy, but I have been consistently throwing in Auroras to kind of fill that buffer for a number of Maelstroms I could throw into a battle. So I will need to think on that, but we need the renown first. At least enough renown that I can feel comfortable, rather, that I'm not going to go broke due to repairs. Alright, we're going to be fighting up against orcs again there, so now begs the question. The Lances, does he have the upgrade to deny my hollow field? Because I know I can kill the orc ships relatively quickly, but I would imagine he's going to protect that ship and it's going to be really difficult to get aggressive. And I'm also wondering if going with the Shadows is going to be useful in that regard too. To kind of like jam him, maybe force any beacons he may have to be spent just spotting me, let alone sticking them onto me there, but... Because if he is going to with a tight clump, Sam Han's actually going to be pretty potent in that regard. I can hit the majority of his cruisers that way, so I am wondering what he's going to be doing for this kind of composition. And 600 points, so I do need to be strict on whatever strategy I'm going to go with. Do I go with raw power and just kind of bull rush down his ships, chipping down one at a time, or do I play a little more safer route? But I don't really have the time if I want to go safer route, because my only bomber is going to be one of the Shadows. And I do have Auger Disruptors, but by the time I get in Auger Disruptor range, he's going to be able to stick beacons on me as well with any extended sensors, so that doesn't help me in any regard, so that's kind of why I want to bring the Shadows in on this. I just don't know what's likely. I'm assuming he has beacons, and I want him to burn those beacons. Well, the Hellborn may be a good compromise. That I could have it go in there. He'll force the beacon on that, maybe. It does have extended sensors to help with spotting a tiny bit. Not that I really need with a lack of fighters, mind you, but... Points juggling, huh? I was just waiting for you to ready up, dang it. I already have a good idea what I want to field, or what my fleet composition looks like. It was just a decision if I want to have a shadow or not. Because it's really hard to say. The jamming actually could be really damn impactful, because there's a big difference to having him just sort of forcing beacons down to just see me, and of course having a beacon stuck on me if he's going with the lance heavy route. And he has shock attacks. That looks like a shock attack gun. Or actually it could be, no, it's a tractor cannon, isn't it? Not a huge deal, but I can't really get aggressive until those things are spent, ideally. That's the main thing to keep in mind, so I'm going to have to fire torpedoes a bit out of range to force him to shuffle around some, and if he ever has the flagship out in the open, that's when I dive in there. I just got to figure out how to force him to burn the tractor cannon so it doesn't leave me in an awkward predicament here, because a single tractor cannon basically, or at least should, negate my right bone shift. I'm not going to move anywhere, I would imagine, depending on which direction he's tractor pulling me, but at least a right bone shift will counteract each other in that sense. But I'm so limited in actually dealing with tractor cannons as well, as opposed to ignoring my hollow fields with the lances. I don't know the best strategy just yet, so there's going to be a lot of trial and error. And that's just asking for possible disaster at some point. But we're going to have the Hellborn go in first, see where he's deployed, so he's on the right.
Moving to that location.
And he does have it hit in there, but I have torpedoes, so long as the torpedoes can actually hit, I'm okay with that, because he's going to have to move. He is without doubt going to have to move, because these torpedoes, these are not your everyday torpedoes. These torpedoes are far superior to what everything else has, but what kind of upgrades? So, he has the sap, he has the reduced speed, but I'm not looking...
Yes, Commander.
It's hard to say if he has the upgrade to kind of deny the spotting there.
Until
So,
the end.
we're going to dodge that torpedo there. I can fire more torpedoes if I so wish.
Deployed with you.
Any free damage. Since he's not going to move, this works for me some. I have not been paying attention to how many fighters he actually has, mind you, but he's not going to have an easy time hitting if he's going to go that route. Because we are getting hits. I want to kill the generator. I guess if nothing else, I want to kill the generator. And then we'll go for a killing blow afterwards. Now, I actually want to reload too, don't I? Faster torpedoes that way, although I messed it up with my Hellborn a tiny bit. Let's soften him up. If he's going to make this easy for me, then I will happily take advantage, because look at the damage we're already wreaking on him. So start dancing for me. That is the ultimate goal, because these torpedoes are no joke, and then I got 60 seconds, so we're going to have to go for the killing blow on the last 30 seconds of this before warp out, if I can't kill a generator.
At your service.
And oh, and I accidentally fired my lances, but... So there's a beacon. That's kind of okay in that regard. 60 seconds, so...
The Eldar shall triumph.
This is going to have to be done impeccably.
Full stop.
Because I am getting a really damn good damage out of this, but with 3-second timer, it doesn't do much on its own.
We ride the solar winds.
So fire results, repairs are gone. This will soften up really nicely.
Yes, Commander. We obey.
So let's get ready. 30 seconds is about to happen. So we're going to use the Hellborn as bait. I just got to kill the shields, which he does not have a supercharged void shield. And this is going to work well for my torpedoes. So yeah, he does have lances, but again, it does not ignore the hollow field. Now,
The Eldar stand
okay, this is probably a mistake. I have 10 seconds, so let's make this count. So fire your tractor cannons all you want there. Although my controls are again getting messed up horribly here, apparently. because my own eclipse is kind of in the way. Alright. So go on out. Let's see. Come on, stop rebelling on me, you damn thing. That is a shame. That is a big shame. I timed that poorly. I timed that really badly. And of course, my own proximity in my eclipse there messed up with my control. I need to be there by 30 seconds, not 15. So, that was poorly executed, poorly timed, alas. But the damage potential was real. He was just standing there, the torpedoes were getting through his fighters really well, and we did really good damage. It's just poor execution, poorly timed. I need to be there by 30 seconds, not move in by 30 seconds, and hell. The Auroras could have helped do that tiny bit of damage. If I had committed with the torpedoes, I panicked a little bit when I should have just flew straight through them. Because at worst, I was only going to get hit by 2 torpedoes, maybe. And their pulsars would have sealed the deal there, because that thing was relatively close to death anyway. And sadly, no generator kill, that's no surprise. Getting the one component you want, unless you're kind of Space Marines, is never really going to happen, is it? But I do get the experience, so that is something there. But that still could have been a win if I did that a little more effectively. Not a very exciting match, mind you, but he was making it easy for him to damage his ship. And I could have just straight up killed it if I'd gone more aggressively. I just was uncertain about the upgrades except for his one cruiser. So that's all I can really say on that, I guess. Alright, it's time to do something a little bit lighter here, so without a doubt, we're going to try and be a little more diligent here for him. But I'm trying to figure out what kind of points he would have. I'm going to assume maybe he's at 400 points, so I'm wondering if I really want to go heavy on the frigates or try for 2 Auroras here. Because I am going to need that burst potential, especially if he's feeling that protector. And I'm also the attacker, so I don't even need to kill him there. I could just try and dive bomb the convoy. It'd probably be an anticlimactic type of match there, but with the Hellborn, they could possibly do it there if I'm good about my control. The Auroras could also do it, possibly better, mind you, but let's actually get one of my level 8 some experience there. As much as I would like to get a level... Actually, let's try for at least a single level 10 Aurora, work slightly towards it so I can have an idea and think about how I want to... figure out how to get the upgrades set up, because I may make some changes when I finally get this thing level 10. Not to mention the fact that I do need to recondition it, so I don't have the... I forget what the crew is called for the faster warp jump, so I will have to retrain to get rid of that, so that way I can maximize it on the Warlock, but it will give me an opportunity to at least think on that for my Auroras, how I want them to ultimately be, since they'll be my first level 10 ship. It's still going to be a while before that happens, though. And this layout makes it difficult for me to deploy in the middle, but I have the mobility to easily negate that. So, we're going to try and focus on sniping the convoy to the best of my ability. Try not to kill the ships. We'll go for a little more of a pacifist run if at all possible, but with lack of fighters, lack of bombers, I am incredibly vulnerable to seeker missiles, so I'm going to be relying heavily on the void blending and hoping to God that he does not have a recon probe to stick onto me. I do have extended sensors, so I have the freedom to go in there, poke, and then get on out before he detects me, because I'm assuming he still has the 5,000 sensor range on his ships at least. It doesn't seem like a high priority for an Emerald level 2, I would guess, but that is still a possibility if he has a recon probes, and I would like him to burn them just to spot me and not so much stick onto me, especially when seeker missiles are a thing. I could still very easily dodge them, but that requires me focusing intently on the ship that the seeker missiles are going after. Not to mention the fact that without the fighters, it's going to take so long to actually kill the seeker missiles that easily a second or third wave is going to be bearing down on the ship before that happens, so I need to be effective at just silent running and avoiding getting spotted, ideally. So we'll give this a try. I don't know how many ships he has there. I'm just waiting for him to ready up there for whatever reason. And I didn't pay attention to where he might deploy. He has this as a bit of a shield, but I don't know. If this is a newer player, he may not even know that I'm utilizing torpedoes, so he may not even be strategizing around that. Hard to say. but everything else is pretty bare. Nonetheless, let's get this going. We got 4 seconds to the clock. I was kind of waiting for him to ready up. And he does have a... Okay, so he is a less experienced player. With that said, I think that's a good indication of the autocast. But that also means he doesn't know about me making noise and being able to follow me through the noise he was hoping. So Solid Run should be pretty potent at not getting hit by mines, huh? Let's see. And he's also getting him stuck in... Ooh, this is going to be really simple. Is he really going to fly them straight towards me? I'm going to enjoy it if he does. It's going to make for even more anticlimactic type of battle. I apologize for that right now, because I'm going to have a Maelstrom. I'm going to have torpedoes to fire. Now, let's get in there super aggressively and start hitting these things. Although, those torpedoes were probably really bad. And we're going to fire more torpedoes to maybe make them panic. So, get moving. The torpedoes are not going to be as effective as I like, but the Hellborn torpedoes are going to complicate things a bit. I thought I told you to Assault Run. How come you're not Assault Running? I do. Oh, you do have Void Blending, right? Or did I pick the wrong upgrade? That's more than likely the case. Now, can we kill at least one convoy here? Because of course they have to go after the Hellborn, and I'm pretty certain I accidentally... Come on, kill the damn thing. Seriously? You could not kill the damn convoy that has no health? That is a shame. Although 2 of these ships are about to die regardless, but... I would like the Hellborn to actually finish the job like I had planned. Finish it before shields go up. Nope, its shield's gone up, but torpedoes are still saying. So that's 1 down. I burnt both their torpedoes, mind you, but with them flying away, that actually makes it easier. I don't have a Maelstrom, though. Now, let's finish this off. Hell, the Seeker missiles might do it for me because he's burned so much of his boosters. Almost. Almost. And he doesn't quite see me yet, so I can get an attack in. Yeah, like I said, very anticlimactic. But that's over. That is a wrap there. He did try to defend his convoy, though, but he left them so exposed at the same time. So, I don't know what to tell him there. If they were behind the cruisers all this time, maybe I could have played that a little more seriously by trying to distract his fighters with my Aurora, but I messed up somehow with the Assault Run. I guess I told it to brace for impact or reload by accident, because it does have Void Blending, and there's no way it can destroy the deck by random chance, so it does help him get some experience, though, because I do have the damage potential to immediately kill his Sauces. Do a crippling amount of damage to his Protector, especially if I had gone with 2 Auroras instead, because they're so wide, he has very limited fighters to actively shoot them down. And my torpedoes are actually a lot more effective at denying getting shot down, too. That's something to keep in mind with me utilizing the torpedo strategy. Not only do they have a 50% chance to ignore destruction, technically you only have a 5% chance to actually kill them as a result, as opposed to 10% chance with your point defense, but they also ignore armor completely, so they bypass brace for impact, they bypass the 25% chance of actually ignoring the damage, so that makes them at least superior to every other torpedo. Not to mention there is that tighter arc too, which makes it possible to hit frigates relatively well, but it goes without saying I'm going to have to be incredibly close or my opponent's really negligent on their controls, so it's not... You still don't want to shoot torpedoes at frigates if you can help it, mind you. I think that's a safe assumption, but it's a good way to get a little bit of experience. It's still a long ways off to my level 10 though, but losing those ships in those first 2 battles is not what I wanted. But it's not like they were going to get an additional upgrade anytime soon, so I'm fine with it either way. It's mostly the Kurnos patterns, the Shadows I'm kind of upset about losing.